Okay, we are going to review the game between the Cincinnati Blitzels and the New York Gigantamax from the perspective of the Cincinnati team. Because I feel like this is a coach who came in, took over someone else's draft. I think he might need the most help. So this is just going to be a video to kind of look at what he maybe did wrong and then just trying to like give him little tips to help him go forward. Because he didn't even draft this team, he just kind of got thrown into it. To replace a coach who kind of left when he had like 2 picks left in the draft. Okay, so like looking at the matchup, Choice Beck's Pre-Marina just kind of destroys Cincinnati's team. The only thing that could possibly like kind of take care of it is like a assault vest or especially defensive like Iron Leaves. Even then you're still weak to Ice Beam, but you can switch into the water moves at least. And yeah, so you're a very offensive team. There's really no defensive options at all on this team. So you really need to make sure that you have the speed advantage or just the momentum throughout all your battles. So that should be your focus. When you're prepping your team, make sure you have the momentum. Don't be forced into positions where you have to switch because this team just doesn't have switch-ins. Maybe like if you're a defensive Taurus, physically defensive and especially defensive Iron Leaves, maybe you can switch into a few things, maybe like once or twice a battle. But other than that, you really need to make sure you have like the speed control going into your games. Terrakion and Archeops went crazy in this game. The first thing I saw was either like a Choice Scarf Terrakion or a Sword Stance Agility Terrakion. His only resistance to rock on the entire team is Flygon, and he didn't bring Flygon. Like, Terrakion was so good in this game. I think you should have brought Terrakion, but you did bring the Archeops, which was another rock type that kind of goes off against his team. I would have brought both. I would have brought both and used them both as my wing conditions. Iron Leaves is very important to take care of pre-Marina, otherwise it just kind of runs through your team. Overall, I think looking at like the preview, I would say you do have like the matchup advantage when it comes to like keeping momentum throughout the game because you are faster. Because you didn't bring Jolteon, you didn't bring Mouse Hold. Thunderous is probably the fastest thing without any like scarfs and stuff. But yeah, that should be your goal when you go into every game, is to make sure you always have like the speed control because you don't have switch-ins to anything. Yeah, so like right there, this is what I mean. If you're not faster than something, you have no switch-ins, something just dies. I don't know if you're like, I don't know if, unless you're like both Choice Scarf, then yeah. But like otherwise, this is where it gets tough. Like, if you get put in a position where like the other team, the opponent's faster and you don't have a switch into anything, this is like the big weakness in the team. So if you were Scarf and he's Scarf as well, then that's just unfortunate. But yeah, it's tough. I probably would have led with like maybe Thunderous just to make sure you're fast and everything. You can Volt Switch on anything as well. Yeah, let's see what happens next. So now you go into Iron Leaves. So this is like the one Pokemon that takes, if this gets damaged too much or like goes down, then Primarina just goes off, and you're offensive with the speed boost. So this tells me that if Primarina is even Scarf or like Specs, or like Primarina is just gonna like probably take over this game, I think. Okay. That's cool. Okay. Okay. So that was cool. This is what I mean. Like if you can take control and you have like the speed advantage and the momentum, This is how you win games. Like, that was pretty fucking good. You just took out the Guzzlord and you took out the... Basically, the Skarmory's gone. Like, everything should be able to one-shot the Skarmory from here. So that gave you the momentum. You have the speed boost. So you should be faster than this. Unless it's Scarf. Unless it's Scarf. Hang on, let me look at the speed. Yeah, unless it's Scarf. You'll be faster than this, and I don't know if it is, but you would know. If you were Scarf your Shifu, then you would know that this is Scarf or not. So if it isn't, you could... Getting damage on this is probably worth it. For... I'm guessing Archeops is like the win condition. Or maybe it's no, it wouldn't be Katana. I'm guessing Archeops is your like win condition. I don't know if this would one shot. If Archeops can like one shot this, I'll probably save this for Primarina. If it's Scarf, I'd save it. If it's not Scarf, or you don't know, and you need damage on this, and I would probably just damage it so Archeops can come in and one shot it. But you would probably know if it's Scarf or not based on like your Shifu thing, but I have no idea. Okay, so you swap, that probably tells me that it was Scarf then, and your Shifu was Scarf, and you knew it was. You swap it to Katana, it gets fucking railed by that Shadow Ball, but that's fine, because I don't think Katana was... I mean, it helped with Primarina, but Slitherwing kind of... Yeah, so that was interesting. Because if now Katana's basically done, I'm guessing you're just gonna let it die here. So now Primarina's really scared. Like, there's a lot of pressure on Iron Leaves now. There's a lot of pressure on Iron Leaves to take care of the Primarina. Okay, so I think that might have been a pretty big misplay. Okay, so maybe... Okay, so if you swapped into Katana to sack it off, it took a big chunk of damage, and then you swap back into Iron Leaves. Now, Iron Leaves died, but you could have just stayed in and taken the hit, and then got a free switch into Thunderous, and Katana will still be at full health. So I think that was probably like a little misplay. I feel like maybe you don't know if this is Scarf or not. Then that tells me that, because if you knew it was Scarf, and you went to, it was going to basically kill anything that switches in. So you either just switch in something, let it die, or you just let the Iron Leaves die. Because now Iron Leaves is dead anyway, and then you just got like 89% damage on the Katana where that didn't need to happen. So I would have just either let Katana die, or just not have switched with Iron Leaves and let that die. And if it's not Scarf, you would have outspeed and just hit it with like good damage anyway. Okay, that is Scarf then. If it has to be Thunderous, that is Scarf. But yeah, so that was kind of like a little unnecessary, just letting Katana take the damage. Or switching back into Iron Leaves. But this thing is a pretty big threat now. I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know if this gets priority or anything, but he's probably gonna swap, I would say. But I would just, yeah, I wouldn't make a double or anything. I would just try and kill this, because this thing, Scarf, is a pretty big problem to your team. Okay, so getting rid of that is good. you have to try and burn the Trick Room turns so your Archeops can come in, try and sweep. Archeops can still win. But it's gonna be tough because now Primarina. I don't think you one-shot Primarina. That's like the problem. Because now this thing's gonna... Yeah, okay. So this could have been a really close battle. This could have been like a really close battle. It's just that Primarina in the end, without the Katana or the Iron Leaves. You just need a little bit of damage on it. But if you had a flying move, you would have one-shot the Slitherwing. Skarmory was so weak it would have died anyway. Like you were so close to sweeping with Archeops. I think the play that lost the game though was switching into Katana and then back into Iron Leaves. Keeping one of them, I probably would have let Iron Leaves die. I probably would have let that die and I would have kept Katana at full health. Because a Katana at full health could probably still take on the Monkidori. It could still take on a hit from it. And then you could hit it back with something and hopefully maybe try and kill it. But yeah, if you were able to get one hit on Primarina, like a big solid hit, just get it in range to where your Archeops could one-shot it, I think you probably would have won that game. As long as you had a flying move for Slitherwing, you would have won that game. So it was close. It was just that one play. But you did pretty good getting, like, even though it wasn't the defensive Iron Leaves that I thought, you would have got it getting like all that momentum and the speed and just putting a hole in the team. That was very good. Like, that was very good. That set you up to like in a really good spot. But then the opposite thing happened where you got in a position where the Monkidori's Choice Scarf is faster than everything on your team and it kind of took the momentum back. And then that's where like the weakness showed in the team, where it really struggles when there's just against something faster because the switch-ins aren't great. But that's where you have to make like very tough decisions, and when you're in a spot like that, you can't panic and you just have to pick the thing that is least effective against your opponent's team and just let it die. Because that's probably going to happen at least 2 or 3 times in your battles. Just to try and minimize as much as you can, but it's going to happen because it's just how your team is. So just try and pick the thing that is not very important and just let that die, instead of kind of panicking a little bit and throwing one thing away, the Katana, and then going back into the Iron Leaves, because that's essentially just throwing 2 things away, and when you only have to throw away 1 thing. But you did good after going into the Thunderous and trying to kill the Monkidori, because that thing's just a bitch for your team to deal with if it's Scarf. So yeah, that the only thing I would work on is in your battles, you're just gonna have to recognize what is the least effective Pokemon, and if you have to sack something off, sack off that, and try not to take unnecessary damage on your team. Because your team is very bulky, you need as much health as you can on everything. That's why I probably would have just let Iron Leaves die, just to keep Katana at full. Because with Iron Leaves already at half, even though the matchup against the opponent was decent, Katana still was. Katana looked very good because Skarmory was weakened as much as it was. So I would have kept Katana healthy, just let Iron Leaves go down, then go into your Thunderous, take the Shadow Balls, and just try and weaken the Monkidori. And if you went into that end game scenario, and you still had Katana left, and used that to weaken down the team, maybe you could have won. But overall, the game wasn't too bad. Overall, that was a winnable game, and that's kind of what you want. If you just get kind of blown out completely, then it's rough. But if you could have won the game just because you make like 1 or 2 misplays, then it's fine, because you can just kind of work on them, and eventually when you stop making them, you'll start winning. So overall, pretty good. Just take care of your win conditions and try not to take unnecessary damage.